know you can't see me, but it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and there's the moon that you can see behind, and we're just coming through Nazaré, which is where I'm going to come back up to where the Marsh Arabs were, if you remember all those days ago, a week and a bit ago, 10 days ago. And it's rattling away as it goes over all those channels. I think we every time we go over one of the bridges, the whole train shudders. And we're probably, I think it gets in at 6 or maybe it gets in at 8. We've got 6 hours or 4 hours to go. And I'm then going to jump on a bus and come all the way back up here to see Ur, but there's no point getting off at 2 o'clock in the morning and sitting on the platform, although it is 30 degrees outside, I just saw. So it's going to be super hot down here. I am really enjoying this. It's a completely different experience. I'm so glad I came down and took the train. And there you can see all the water around us as we go through the swamps. Well, that's really special seeing the moon there, almost a full moon, because the great Ziggurat of Ur, which is what I'm going to come back to, 2,000 odd years BC, 4,000 year old massive structure, Mesopotamian structure, that is dedicated to the moon god. And there is the moon god, and it's reflecting off all of this water around. That is amazing, because when we come back we're not going to see the moon, we'll just see the sun, but to see the moon in its full glory that it was dedicated to. Well, it's 5 a.m. and I think we have just got to Basra. Trying to work out how to get off now. Hey, I think there's an exit that's open here. Hey, here we go. Welcome to Basra, everybody. Well, that was a highlight. I like that. I wanted to do that trip. A bit crazy, really. It's 5 a.m. It's taken, 10 hours to get from Baghdad down to Basra. A really good railway that was built in the British time in the 30s, I think 30s, 40s. Hardly used now. It closed down to only one train a day, and as you saw, that even that train is doesn't go at 8 or doesn't go at 7. Anyway, really good experience. Rattled through, came all the way down. Really liked actually going through all the marshlands and kind of just experiencing, remembering what I'd been through 10 days ago or so, or a couple of weeks ago. Now I'm going to catch a taxi and a bus all the way back up there to see Ur. But how great to see the moon as well, as they celebrate Ur and the moon god. So yeah, really great trip. There it is. There's the train. Now I'm going to try to get out, and someone say no video. Alright, got Nazaré. Now next stop is Temple of Ur, the great Ziggurat of Ur. I'm really excited to see this. You should bring everything that I've seen in Iraq together. There it is. The great Ziggurat of Ur. Wow, sticks out. Thousands of years on. Still impressive. Well, would you look at this, the great Ziggurat Temple of Ur. Look at this. There's no one here. The only person coming up there is the taxi driver, who said, dude, there's no one here, basically in Arabic. If I leave you here, you're going to die. And he's right. And who would believe it? Like, this is one of the most incredible known archaeological places in the world, kind of a wonder of a world. It is about 5,000 years old, a massive city in this area. It's dedicated to the moon god. Nana up above, and it links, and it's got all these different layers to it. So it's got this whole thing would have been covered in tiles and color and all that sort of stuff, and a massive city around here with the Euphrates. When the Euphrates left, it all turned into desert and it got covered by sand dune. Only a few hundred years ago, it actually got excavated, although they could see that there was something sticking out. So they knew there was something sticking out here, but they didn't know the size of the sand dune area. But basically what they've discovered is that there are various layers to this. And this is really new discovery. Since COVID, they've been doing sonar around the area underneath, and they're finding with a lot of these big temples that they connect both the heavens, which they knew this is dedicated to the moon god, but it also connects to the earth. It's dedicated to the weather, oops, going to lose it, it's too hot. It's dedicated to the earth gods, but now they're finding there's a whole lot of chambers underneath, so it connects the sky all the way through to the earth and all the way to the to underground. And they're still excavating those and finding them out. They're also found out that there's, in caves around here and excavations around here, they've found stuff from Bahrain and stuff from India. So they know this is a massive pilgrimage site, and they know it's on an orientation of many other of these ziggurats and type of temples and pyramid structures that link the cosmos to structures around the earth that we're only trying to get our mind around. So anybody that's interested in space, this is one of those places you need to study, because it's kind of a link of the cosmology of thousands of years ago when they were able to map out the stars, had huge mathematical, they found tablets around here with big mathematical formulas on them. These things are new discoveries that keep coming more and more into our knowledge, and this evolution of science. It's kind of like, hold on, they knew a lot about the interconnectedness of the cosmos and the earth, but also now they're finding with the sonic stuff that's really recent, they're finding they're connected with chambers that are aligned to other places around the earth as well. So absolutely fascinated. I wanted to come here because it links this whole Sumerian, the Mesopotamian start of this whole area thousands of years ago, where they had multiple gods and all those sort of things, and now we're getting into one god, but there's one true god above. So that links in the modern religions of Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. And in this area as well, Abraham was meant to have been born. So it's very, very significant, which is why I am surprised there's absolutely no one here apart from my taxi guy, who very kindly said, if you stay out here alone, you will die. And he is right, because it's over 40 degrees now at 9 o'clock in the morning, and my phone is overheating. Look at that. It goes up obviously a lot higher. Can you imagine this covered in tiles and color, and you'd see it on these flat plains from a long way away. The Euphrates was close. They found in this area that the advances, so irrigation channels throughout all of the city. So when it rained, water was pushed away, sewage was pushed away, fresh water was brought in. We think about the Romans, that's what we were taught. That was thousands of years after this place, this huge city was formed. Unbelievable. And look at it there. It looks like you can't get up anymore, which is good to preserve it, but amazing. I'm so glad I've come here. The Great Ziggurat, which means big mound basically, which is put together by dirt and reed and bitumen they had. The Great Ziggurat of Ur, or Ur as they call it here. I can't believe I'm here. If you can't get excited by something like this, seeing something thousands of years old that is still standing today, I don't know, you can't get excited by very much, but this really is super, super exciting. And the way that it links into stuff, and I can't wait with just using drone technology, we're able to link up energy lines and stuff around the world, and how all these huge structures, this pyramids, you name it, structures we see in Australia, structures we see all the way out in Russia and stuff, we'll be able to link all of these together and see if there's any alignment to it. This is fascinating stuff that's happening at the moment. This is why the past, this stuff here, is so important, because there was so much knowledge in the past that we have lost, and now we're just trying to relearn it again. And it's just exciting to be living through a time when that's happening. This pile of dirt and rocks is so important to the future, and to the future of our understanding of space, and also the alignment of everything around in the entire world. It's amazing. And no one's here. No one is here. Incredible. That's where the tablets were kept, and that, I just read, is one of the oldest arches to be preserved, to be not have to be preserved, although it's got a wooden thing underneath, so I don't know what that means. But freestanding arches in the world. Right behind me is the cemetery they found. They dug this area up. They found thousands of graves. They also found a whole series of royal graves, some of which hadn't been looted. And this had huge amounts of gold in there. And also interesting, they had like 60, 70 slaves, but fully like musicians and women who must have been their, I guess, their harems. I'm not sure, but they were wives, whatever. They were all sacrificed or voluntarily died, if that is a thing, to go into the afterlife, so that the royal family would have servants to look after them in the afterlife. You don't want to risk not being a royalty when you go to the next level. You got to make sure you turn up at those pearly gates, and you got a whole entourage behind you and say, "Look, I'm actually important, so give me the same type of life I had on Earth, please." So all these guys that had died, so had a massive burial ground here, which is really fascinating, because that kind of links into the stuff we saw in Russia with those mammoth children that were buried with jewelry that no one's talking about now. And they were buried with jewelry. These guys are buried with jewelry that all believes in sort of an afterlife and taking wealth to the next level, next life. Those buildings you can see behind, I don't know if it's operational anywhere. That was part of the massive US military base during the Gulf War in this area. I don't know if it's still operational. I haven't heard any jets going off or seen any soldiers, but it's a huge military base right next to this incredibly and beautiful ziggurat. Look at that. The camera is so hot. So I thought I'd best say a bit about how you catch a taxi or shared bus here. So they have these taxis that get filled up, and then over here you get bigger buses. Taxis tend to go faster. It costs about 10,000 to go on a shared taxi to Basra, which is a few hours away, so about $5 an hour. You can also rent them fully. And so you come to these places and you call out your name, and they jump in the back. I've now been waiting an hour or so for more people to come. So you can just buy the other seats and just let it go. So I've got one guy ready, so I could, for instance, it's going to cost 12, so I could pay another 24 and get the other two seats if I want. Then I've got the whole back row. But I'm in no rush and just reading my Quran. Welcome to Basra again, everybody. I have just had a quick sleep, because I got an early flight in the morning, and I thought I might catch a boat. Somebody said to me on Instagram, "Have you been on the boat yet?" And I didn't, and it's a full moon. So I think having a look at Basra from the water, since it's a water town, it's on the coast, close to the coast, I think that'll be a good thing. So I'm going to see if I can find someone to take me on a boat. Left back? Shukran. Well, that was quick, just like that we're off, and it looks like it's only 10,000, which is like $10 or so, $12. I don't know how long for. It should be awesome because the sun is just setting. Love how there's these small boats with no lights on. Well, you might remember that Saddam Hussein's palace is down there. All those lights that are lit up. That's the big new, I think it's called the Italian Bridge. It's actually quite beautiful, this town, when it's lit up at night. I felt that last time, Basra. And that, I think, is Saddam Hussein's one of his old luxury yachts. He didn't just have palaces, he had big boats as well, in true dictator style. And my place is up near that ferry wheel down there that you might see, Ferris wheel. It's actually really peaceful. I'm surprised there aren't more people out here. It's exactly what I'd be doing if I lived here, because it's so much cooler than on the land. At night it was pretty hot when I left the hotel, but out here it's just like a beautiful evening. I hadn't expected to see that. That's the Champions League football, and there's people doing a slow procession up this road here in Basra in their car with Barcelona, who won Spain. It just shows you how powerful football is as a uniting force around the world. It is another religion, and it's, you know, it's probably a better religion than what we've got at the moment. Yeah, maybe we should just worship the football. That could be a lot of world peace in that. Well, last kebab here. Freshly made bread.